Hey, RetconRaider here, and welcome back to the Alpha for Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader, as we delve ever further into Imperial intrigue. I feel like we may have gotten through the bulk of it last time, but we might still have a fair amount of chatter ahead of us, so let's jump right in, shall we? Your Lordship, Governor Drivestem is waiting in the audience hall. I advise you respond to his lateness in kind. That way you can let Urbent know that his behavior has not gone unremarked. But I would not delay too long. Right now, the court is closely observing your every step. Well, I'm not really sure there's anything left for us to do out here, so... Yes, tell them I'm ready to see the governor. Clementia bows before leaving. I shall arrange for him to be escorted to your study. RetconRaider von Valancius, 20th in his line. Rogue Trader, Keeper of the Sacred Warrant, and Ruler of the Coronis Expanse from the Chronok System to the 100 Dreams Crossroads. I bid you welcome! Really? I own Chronok and 100 Dreams? I feel like we've been to both those locations. I didn't even realize. You'd think my trademaster would have said something. Urbent Drivestem, Governor of this great world. First and foremost, please accept my deepest condolences. It will be difficult to recover from the loss of a woman as great as Theodora von Valancius. It pains me to think that she is no longer with us. The citizens of Dargonis and of the entire Trade Empire grieve alongside you. Please allow us to declare a half-year of mourning so that we can honor the memory of our beloved lady. I didn't mean we didn't even meet Theodora aside from her weird demon ghost. I feel like we can probably forestall mourning someone we never even met. There is no need. I am the new ruler of the Trade Empire. Let my subjects rejoice at my arrival instead. Sadness is a waste of time. The bewilderment causes the wrinkles on Drivestem's glossy face to soften. Your Lordship, these are centuries-old traditions, sacred customs and rules. Do not forget who it is you serve, Urbent Drivestem. If it is the Rogue Trader's wish not to have a mourning ceremony... Abelard's voice grates unpleasantly from several rooms away. Then so be it. Perhaps the parvenu installed by Lady Theodora cares not for the sacred traditions of our founding ancestors. The governor gives a meaningful nod to the wall between him and Abelard. But Rogue Trader von Valancius is a descendant of the true children of Dargonis. It behooves the ruler of the world to honor its customs. Oh, for goodness sake, fine, we'll compromise on this. I assure you, I do honor traditions, Governor Drivestem, but later, when things in the Trade Empire have settled down. Then, we will declare a mourning period. Shortly before sunup, ending before lunch. That will be the mourning period. As you will, your lordship. Drivestem bows his head. Esteemed Rogue Trader, Lady Theodora was a strong leader, and we ought to follow her example. Let us lean on our wisdom and perseverance in spite of this tragedy. Together. And let us carry on where she no longer can by leading the von Valancius Trade Empire to even greater prosperity. Alas, it won't be an easy task to accomplish. Some time ago, the astropaths of Dargonis flew into a rage, and they had to be subdued. We are gradually restoring our ability to speak with neighboring worlds, but the contacts are still weak, and the roots are tangled and no longer lead to the systems that the captains expect them to. Given that the vast majority of ships in the Dargonis Navy travel without relying on the services of navigators, without your engagement, the well-being of the von Valancius dynasty and the billions of its subjects is presently at risk. Yes, about that. We actually met a ship from Dargonis not too long ago. They were transporting a chaos artifact that drove the majority of them mad. The governor presses a number of buttons on the cogitator built into his bracer and looks up at you in surprise. I don't understand. The ship did indeed depart from orbit, but it did so, if you can believe it, on the rogue trader's authorization. That is why no one dared to impede its departure. Lord Captain, it would seem that Conrad somehow got his hands on a copy of your authorization. Or perhaps even the original. A tool like that in the hands of a traitor does not bode well. Indeed. Conrad Voigtveer, the former Master of Whispers, is a heretic and a traitor. Governor, has he shown his face on Dargonis? The governor pensively strokes the rings glittering on his fingers. Lord Voigtveer visited the capital some time ago, but he did not request a personal meeting. A heretic, you say? Now I see where all the whispering in the corridors has come from. The Master of Whispers. I shall be frank with you, your lordship. Lady Theodora's sudden death was a blow to every one of us, and the absence of any sort of verifiable and complete information about her successor gives grounds for all manner of rumors and misinterpretations, especially if someone is deliberately inciting unrest and discontent. Naturally, none would dare challenge you by accusing you of something as sacrilegious as murdering a rogue trader. However, Conrad Voigtveer was once a true boon to the trade empire back in the day, and as such, some might heed his words. Ooh. Okay, let's see. Well, I've got to say, mass executions or turning everyone into cyborg zombies feels a wee bit excessive, so, my subject's doubts are understandable. Too many things have changed in too short a span. I will prove myself worthy of my position by rebuilding our glorious empire. Why, rogue trader, your desire is most commendable. But please do not forget, a ruler should never bow to their attendants, or some might see it as a show of weakness. But not me. I am clearly trustworthy. Of course. In light of current circumstances, what exactly do the Dargonis nobility expect me to accomplish? I've mostly just been noodling around in space, killing things and taking stuff. Is that what a rogue trader does? Because it's what I've been doing. We are all troubled by the fate of the agri-world Janus that supplied Dargonis and other planets with foodstuff. Empty stomachs can drive even the mildest rabble to revolt. Furthermore, House Gaprak is perturbed by the loss of communication with the industrial world, Kiava Gamma, which is in their charge. But if you wish to know my opinion, the world that deserves your attention the most is the penal world, Viabos 6, one of the key mining suppliers in your trade empire. Such intriguing concern for the Viabos 6 outpost. Governor, doesn't your house happen to own the extraction stations on that planet? Drivesem's beady eyes widen in fear. Your lordship, I beg of you, do not interpret my words as an attempt to influence your decisions in any way. You see, without Viabos 6, the manufactorums on your world will need to make haste to find new suppliers elsewhere and arrange for new shipments. And in these troubling times, they run the risk of delays and other most tragic mishaps. My only concern is for the prosperity of the von Valancius dynasty. Yes, of course, so I say. You know, speaking of governors who have overstepped their bounds, I actually did visit Janus not too long ago. Governor Viad had gotten them into quite a quagmire in my absence. But fortunately, I was there to resolve the situation, as well as the former governor. Truly, the Viat line is one of the oldest in the Von Valancius trade empire. If the inheritor of such well-respected blood could not handle whatever had befallen her, then the situation must have been extraordinary indeed. Never you mind about that, Governor. You have enough on your own plate as it is. The Governor stares at you with a mixture of worry and incredulity. Nevertheless, after hearing your words, he bows his head in obedience. Well, I think that does it for the planets and the trade routes, though I feel like there were some other options that it didn't take me back to. What else is there to discuss? Xenos, your lordship. I don't rightly know where to begin. He rubs the bridge of his nose wearily. Otherworldly beasts are not uncommon sights in the Coronis expanse. They have been a menace to the worlds this side of the Maw for decades. But now these abominations are on the rampage. They show no signs of fear as they attack ships, either damaging them to the point where they become unfit for transport duty, or outright gutting them. Only you have the power to stop this madness. We are in the process of restoring the astropathic choir of Dargonis. Luckily, we were forced to slay only some of the deranged psychers, although those that remain are as yet unable to transmit messages. I hope Master Scalander will keep his word and offer you his support in the war against the Xenos. According to his reports, the region of Viabos 6 has been of particular concern in the last few cycles, which is all the more reason to discover the colony's fate as soon as possible. You don't say. Now, to issues on a smaller scale. There is a certain degree of tension in the capital due to the unorthodox succession to the Sacred Warrant. Chances of uprisings are minimal, of course, and the spreading of rumors is nothing but a sign of weakness of mind and spirit. Nevertheless, I have prepared a list of minor houses that have demonstrated unseemly discomposure at your succession. What is to be done about them? All right, let's see. We can do nothing, we can kill them all. We can send them gifts. What? I feel like that's our worst option here. Why would you reward someone for being disloyal? No, I guess we'll go for the intermediate option. Eliminate the most prominent malcontents quietly, but do not threaten entire families. Hopefully these steps will be enough to keep the rest of them from causing any more trouble. Brilliant! Once your lordship's wrath descends upon the guilty, have no doubt. There won't be a soul on Dargonis willing to share their fate. And one last thing, your lordship. Your inauguration as bearer of the Sacred Warrant is but a matter of time. And I would like to inquire about one crucial detail. I imagine you're intending to uphold the centuries-old tradition, bolstered by an equally long-lasting friendship, of being represented on Dargonis by one of the noble houses. I presume that, as before, this duty will be accorded to House Drivestem. Getting a mite bit needy there, Governor. That is certainly a possibility, but what are my other options? Pray tell. Any of the noble houses located on Dargonis. The Drivestem family, which I lead, the Goprak family, with long ties to the Adeptus Mechanicus, the Sourbacks, known for their piety and diligence in service. Perhaps I should also mention the Wersurians, who have some influence, but who are not actually of noble origin. Any one of these houses would be honored to represent you at the ceremony. The Wersurians, you say? Well, I feel like of the noble houses, I have the longest-lasting relationship with them. I do wish it would let me delay this decision, though, because, I mean, while the Wersurians are the most logical choice, them or the Drivestems, We haven't even met the Goprox or the Sourback, so it's not really an informed decision. This is just the alpha, though, so I think we'll shake things up a bit. House Worsurian shall accompany me. If you would wish to do so, Governor, perhaps you should have taken steps to befriend me sooner. Abelard turns to you and bows respectfully. Lord Captain, to accompany you at such a critical hour is the greatest honor of the Worsurian bloodline. Have no fear, we will not fail you. Drivestem tosses the wall a look that lacks even the smallest shred of respect. Forgive my boldness, but I must remind you that the Worsurians, whose lineage traces back to a Navy officer, are not of the Dargonis nobility. Such decisions may have adverse effects on your subjects' loyalty, your lordship. And then we needed a new governor. Drivestem's face breaks into a bitter smile. I shall immediately relay your commands, most gracious rogue trader. Thank you for your time. Well, that is certainly good to hear. In fact, Urbent, why don't you tell me about yourself and your house? It would be my pleasure to enlighten you, my lord. My house is the oldest and most respected on Dargonis. My ancestors walked side by side with yours for many generations as they cared for this world's welfare. Our duty is to supervise the governing bodies within the system subservient to you, and we are responsible for the trade empire's logistics and economic stability. As for me personally, I am a humble servant of the Emperor and a loyal subject of the rogue trader. And to my great pleasure, I had the honor of calling myself Lady Theodora's close friend. At Urbent's last words, Abelard lets out a sound that could be interpreted as either a snort or a cough. Urbent gives him a look, which Abelard meets with an expression of utter nonchalance. Well, Governor Urbent, this has been fascinating. I would like to complete my inauguration as rogue trader as soon as possible. When is this ceremony? I'm afraid that until you deal with pressing issues, the ceremony will have to be postponed. Many trade routes are still unavailable, the central worlds of the Von Valancius Empire are going through a crisis, and the warp disturbances, if Void observers are to be believed, will prevent important guests from reaching the capital. Of course. Thank you for your time, your lordship. Since duty calls, I shall take my leave. May the Emperor's grace be with you. Well, I must say, that whole conversation, I was waiting for assassins to come bursting out of this obvious secret door in my bedroom to murder me. But apparently not. That, honestly, is somewhat unexpected. Given the trend they set with the previous few places we visited, I just assumed that having someone try to murder you in the middle of a conversation with some key figure was the norm. Part of the rich and established tradition of the Coronis Expanse. But apparently not. Okay, so we still have to find Kiava Gamma, obviously. And apparently Heinrichs does have a thing there. But now we also need to find Viabo 6. I'm guessing that's the sector it's in, Mortis Aces. It also mentions here that Kiava Gamma is in Kronak. I didn't realize it told us what sector these planets were in. We've already cleared Langrand's belt, so the dumped cargo must be in 100 Dreams Crossroad. And we've also still got that thing in Forgotten Twins, but I'm not sure we can actually complete that in the current alpha. The cargo system's kind of a work in progress, so I might not worry about that one. Okay, let's see if Clementia or Skullander have anything new for us. Nothing from Clementia. Just some general chatter. I was hoping we might at least get new rumors or orders or something. And nothing from Scalander. Though in his case, he did specifically mention to us he would contact us when he knew of impending Xenos attacks. So I imagine that's more of an in-transit event sort of thing, like he'll call us when we're traveling between sectors, or just as we've arrived in a problem sector. That might also be why planets like Santiel's Pride are appearing, clearly named but uninteractable. I assumed it might be because we had to go there to set them straight, but it could actually be because we have to go there to protect them from Xenos raids. Honestly, given the context of our current situation, I feel like what they should have given us here is a more comprehensive list of all the sectors and planets that are supposed to be part of our trade empire. That way we could better prioritize which sectors to head to. I mean, obviously we don't know where a lot of this stuff is yet, but we are discovering new sectors constantly. And we can see the names, so I mean, that would give us some direction at least. Some ability to prioritize our travel routes. Speaking of which, we've got 100 Dreams Crossroads right there. And we know that's where the dumped cargo is from that one rumor. Aside from that, we're looking for Cronach and... Oh, Mortis Aces, it's right there. Okay, well that, I think, is our new priority. Yeah, that's just 2 jumps out, the first of which is a 1 skull, so... Unless we get held up in Pellium Solitas, we should be able to reach that by the end of the episode. We could take the more circuitous route through Narmer, but that would pretty much guarantee we would not make it there. Nah, we'll take the more direct route. The duty officer reported an incident in the shuttle repair bay. A security team was dispatched in response to a distress signal, but when they arrived, they discovered that the shuttle repair crew had doubled in number. Somehow, every crew member now had an identical twin, but each assured the guards that they were the real one. The guards immediately opened fire, killing everyone in the bay. The duty officer awarded the squad a commendation for their vigilance and efficiency. Alright, yeah, I kind of get that one. I guess that's fair. And let's see what we've got here. Hey, a burning world. Plus a void ship tucked almost completely off screen. Gas giant? Nothing. We'll avoid the ship for now. That might actually be that captain who was asking about burning worlds. In which case, we'll want to check this one out before we actually go meet with them. Obviously, they're working some sort of angle, so if there's a profit to be had, I would rather claim it for myself. Nothing on Savannah World. Nothing on Burning World. I have seen a planet burn once before. Kasar Maga. Exterminatus was invoked. Incendiary cyclonic torpedoes were deployed. The world burned for several months, until there was nothing but ash. Lovely. Thank you for sharing that story, Heinrichs. I appreciate it. Desert World. Which is clearly more lava than desert. After analyzing the auger data, the officers were surprised to discover that the planet was once covered with oceans. Long ago, an unknown cataclysm caused the seas to dry out and turn the world into a lifeless desert. The most amazing discovery of all was the skeletal remains of colossal oceanic organisms, some large enough to be seen from orbit. Life is fragile, even for creatures this enormous. That is actually pretty impressive, something so big you could see it from orbit. That would be horrifying. A Vox notification from the Augur team drowns out the usual noise on the bridge. An Imperial vessel, the Darkpiercer, and its escort ships are headed your way. Your archives make no mention of either the ship or its owner. As you're pondering your course of action, the ship's captain contacts you first. Introducing himself as the Pilgrim, the captain greets the rogue trader courteously and offers to purchase any information you might have on power crystal deposits. Tell me, why do you call yourself the Pilgrim? The captain admits he hasn't always done the right thing in his life, but he once beheld the blessings of the Emperor himself, and has followed a special path of service to him ever since. That is the path he now treads as the Pilgrim. And what precisely do you need these power crystals for? The captain's coarse laughter echoes forth from the box. Power crystals are part and parcel of many different aspects of Imperial life. How exactly his customers are going to use them is none of his concern. All that the Pilgrim promises is that the crystals will be used for the good of humanity. The mention of power crystals makes Pascal palpably enthusiastic. Indifferent toward making a deal with the shadowy individual, the Magos nonetheless recommends finding out more about crystal deposits. Your own trade empire would benefit from the knowledge. And what precisely are you offering in exchange for this valuable information? The Pilgrim has been exploring the Coronis Expanse for years and knows many of its secrets. He promises to let you in on intriguing rumors that may be of interest to someone with your skills and capabilities. Ooh, rumors. I do like rumors. But it's simply not enough. What else do you have to offer? It looks like the captain of the Darkpiercer is unsurprised by your reaction. He's willing to pay in gold and securities for any information on crystals. And that'll do it. We will pass on our information. I think we're just selling info, not the actual crystals. The captain of the Darkpiercer is in the best of spirits. In gratitude for your invaluable help, he sends you a small box containing ancient maps and documents. They appear to speak of a certain Imperial world, lost ages ago. Then, in somewhat of a conspiratorial tone, the Pilgrim relates a story about a standoff between two Xenos fleets, which he was told by an acquaintance. The person in question, sadly enough, died at the hands of the Inquisition before they were able to pass the coordinates for the crash site of one of the Xenos ships. However, the Pilgrim knows for a fact that the vessel had met its demise on an ocean world. Intriguing. So, a lost Imperial world and a crashed Xenos ship. Those do sound like worthwhile leads. You guys can go. I'm not going full murder hobo here. So do we have actual sectors to work with? A crossing of paths. And then that one's just an ocean world. But that does give us enough to potentially go on. I mean, we have the 100 Dreams Crossroads just south of us. Space South. And ocean worlds. We've found a few that might be worth revisiting now. Though it could also be in a sector we have yet to explore. We'll worry about that stuff later. Oh. Well, this is untenable. Path to Narmer is red, so I guess we'll go to Litoribum Maledicta. Thought sorting event. Everyone affected by the incident was horrified for a long time afterward. Resident psyker Adira Talas, however, remarked with a grin that the tidying up had allowed her to dredge up a vital memory and find the left sock that had long been missing from her favorite pair. Truly world-shattering stuff, Adira. Thank you for letting me know. But I do like that they have variable endings to some of these events, apparently. That is actually pretty cool. Three worlds. Let's burn through these. Savannah World. Provisions. I guess we'll take those. We don't really need them at this point, but might as well keep gathering. Rocky World. Sometimes accompanied by Bullwinkle World. But not this time. And Continental World, known for its shelves. Oh, okay. Is this one of ours? A small planet gently wrapped in amber forests greets you with a ruby-colored dawn. Basil von Dem Clearch, the local governor, gives the rogue trader a warm welcome. After several glasses of Damascene, the sweltering ruler asks if rogue trader von Valencius would like to keep him company during the upcoming hunt. Sure, why not? After several hours of riding the local peculiar animals, you make camp in the middle of a golden forest. Basil von Dem Clearch points at the sky. A flat disk rises over the horizon, constantly changing its color and shape. The forest grows silent and empty. You can no longer hear the singing of birds, or even the rustle of wind. The governor nods with satisfaction, and a few shapes step into the clearing. Their bodies are twisted by an unknown phenomena, and you watch the freaks with astonishment as they begin to dance to the throaty cackling of their brethren, turning the scaly hands covered in bony growths and pulsating flesh toward the unnatural thing in the sky. What is happening here? The governor smiles coyly. You are about to see what is going on with your own eyes. We are on a hunt, right? I mean, are these guys summoning some monstrosity for us to kill? Or is this just a straight-up chaos ritual? The hypnotic dance seemed to continue forever. The unfortunate creatures howled, whined, and convulsed, unable to tear the bleeding eyes from the celestial body. When the Pavonian disk outshone the light of the local star, the physical shells of the things that used to be men burst, releasing beasts not even the most fluent and capable pen can describe into the world. Basil von Dem Clearch excitedly explains that the creatures you saw are the children of the great King of Distortion. It is he who is the true god and patron of these fertile grounds. Once every cycle his chariot shines its light upon the world and bestows transformation upon his most ardent followers. The rogue trader may become one of his heralds. Yeah, okay, so this is a cultist recruitment pitch. Bold. I respect that. I mean, I'm definitely executing you, but, I respect your audacity. I will admit, I am slightly curious as to what would happen if you actually took him up on the offer, but But I can't imagine these sorts of scenarios ever end well. The governor's head separates from the neck with a distinctive squelch. Black and brown blood seeps into the soil beneath his corpulent body, and is immediately transformed into a boil of worms that burrow deep into the ground with unnatural speed. You return to the ship pondering what to do with this world, and, more importantly, what to do with the King of Distortion. I think we can sort things out. We'll just have a perfectly reasonable discussion, one ruler to another. The senior officers observe suspicious activity emanating from the twisted celestial body at the heart of the system. The chaplain advises to get ready for a potential encounter with a spawn of the archenemy, so it may be wise to reconsider unless you have holy relics, sacred wards, or blessed effigies of the Emperor. Well, I've got like 8 cargo holds full of holy gifts. Will that suffice? Because I have not found anything else to do with those things. Ah, I see. We can cleanse the world. But let's hold off on that. The king comes first. Aflame with a plethora of colors, a distorted celestial disk twitches slightly behind the endless row of windows on the captain's bridge. The rogue trader's ship approaches its center. An otherworldly voice, cold, enveloping, enters your mind. What could this puny wretch possibly offer a king? The officers on the bridge look around, perplexed. Their eyes are full of terror and confusion. Many clutch their heads and let out long howls of pain. Some are emptying their stomachs. But most, pale and exhausted though they are, have joined the Lord Captain in resisting against the entity's influence. Who or what am I speaking with? An endless flow of images fills your consciousness. You see horrifying scenes of millions of tortured souls. Their screams rend your mind. Their pain pierces you with 1,000 red-hot needles. A king, a ruler, the obeyed one. That's all you can make sense of, although you see a lot more. I command you to release the minds of the Amberworlders from your grip. The king's mocking laughter is ringing in your eyes, and a deep red trickle runs slowly down from your nose and over your lips, leaving an aftertaste of salt and metal. Very well, order a ship-wide 1,000-voiced prayer service over holy relics, in the name of protecting this world, my world, and our souls. Also the Imperium, I guess. This could very well kill us, but, you know, that's why I saved. Deafening gong strikes are heard across the void ship's hundreds of decks. Your eyes are misted with red and your gums bleed as your subjects fall to their knees all at once in a shared prayer to the God Emperor. The holy relics from the ship's temples melt from the ardor of your speech, and the entity screams and writhes inside your brain, struggling to break out. Many drop dead during the first minutes of the prayer, unable to resist the corruption. However, others immediately take their place, unfazed by the sight of their fellows turning to dust in seconds. Then a nauseating stench engulfs the ship's decks like a wave, causing people to retch forth their innards. Finally, lights go out on all decks. Ghosts of the past walk among the living, stealing breath from those weak of spirit. And yet the prayer is not extinguished. It's hard to say whether the prayer service has lasted several hours or several days. At some point, you feel your very essence overflow with heat and power, and that is when the intruding will falters. The distorted disk vanishes from the void ship's radars as if it was never there, and at long last, everything is quiet. As everyone slowly recovers from what just happened, reports begin to come in to the captain's bridge. You've lost a third of your crew in the unequal fight, and the fortunate survivors are going to take quite some time to come around. All hail the rogue trader. My goodness, that was fantastic. I love that. You would think a third of our crew would equate to more than just 10 hell damage, but I guess I won't question it. We also had something pop in our journal. Oh, look at that. There's a section of our rumor board specifically for rumors about us. King Killer. The rogue trader, by force of his words and faith, overpowered the unfathomable entity serving the archenemy. Glory to the Von Valancius dynasty. So I assume that's like the reputational traits you see in some other CRPGs. That's really cool. Alright, now the cultists. The golden forests of Amberworld look enchanting, even from orbit. And look at that, we will indeed declare ourselves the new King of Amberworld. From that moment, the world belonged to the rogue trader alone. Your people eradicated the settlements housing the unclean followers of the profane cult. The corruption instilled by King of Distortion loosened its grip, and the estates of Amberworld can breathe a sigh of relief thanks to the efforts of their new ruler. Yet malicious servants of the archenemy still lurk in the shadows and wait for the right moment to wrap the planet in a web of heresy. Evil does not go away without a trace. It's fine. Plenty of time to collect tribute in the meanwhile. Relieved to be free from the archenemy's yoke, the subjects gratefully send you their humble gifts. So did we actually get something from that, or... Might be profit factor, or it might just be something they haven't actually implemented yet. And sadly, this does not appear to be a fully functional colony either. That's a shame. Still though, that was a very fun event. I do feel like it should have gotten the full book treatment, you know, like we had back on Foulstone, with the illustrations and everything for the various segments of the story, because if any event we've run into deserved it, that definitely did. Though I suppose you would have to get pretty abstract for some of the images. But yeah, that I feel really kind of fully displays the impossible struggle against the forces of chaos. You know, the oblique inevitability of the eventual end of all things, which we are simply forestalling. Still though, in the short term, it's good that we worked that thing out of our system. That said, we're pushing time. We apparently do not have a route from here to Mortis-Aces, so I guess this is where we call it. We'll hit the pause button for now. I will map a new route, and we will pick up here next time as we investigate Viabo 6. See you then. Oh, and special thanks to the Raiders, the fine folks who help make these videos possible, including but not limited to Dragon Matrix 7, Revenant, Alois, Drakiith, ERV23, EgonAlter, Emile, Exsellsior, Gottlieb, James Trimmier, Mark Giemza, Nathan Welch Jr., OverlordPherom, RandomPassrby, RobbyB, Rowan Church, Tomasz Piątkowski, Triphoppenskip, and Valinrook. Thanks for your support, guys. That said, if you'd also like to help support the channel, then feel free to push the buttons that do the things. Trust me, it does make a difference. Or you could even check out the PayPal, the Patreon, the Nexus GG, or the YouTube memberships. Links are in the description.